another group of bacteria which come under the heading Mycoplasma. Mycoplasma. So these group of bacteria, they are not having cell walls. So they are highly pleomorphic, means they have different shape and size. They are not having fixed shape and size. So they lack cell wall precursors also, such as muramic acid, diamino, pimelic acid, and muramic acid. They are the cell wall precursors. So these group of bacteria which come under mycoplasma, they lack even a cell wall precursors such as muramic acid or diamino pimelic acid. So these cells, they are bounded by a soft trilaminar unit membrane which contains sterols. So the cells, they are bounded by soft trilaminar unit membrane, so which contains sterols. So they have a plasticity, means they can bend and they can flex. So they have a plasticity, so they can pass through the bacterial filters. So some of the people, they have mistaken these group of bacteria for viruses, because these group of bacteria, mycoplasma, they have a plasticity, they can pass through the bacterial filters. So that is why some of them they have mistaken these group of bacteria as viruses, because viruses, they are very small in size, they pass through the bacterial filters. Even these group of bacteria which come under mycoplasma, because of their plasticity, they can pass through the bacterial filters. So they are mistaken for viruses sometimes. So the first member of the group, it was the organism causing bovine pleuropneumonia, which was isolated by Knockard and Raux in the year 1898. Similar organism which was found to cause contagious agalactia in sheep. So in bovine and sheep, it was first isolated. So when such isolates were obtained from animals, human beings, plants, and environmental sources, they all together came to be called as a pleuropneumonia-like organisms. Pleuropneumonia-like organisms, PPLO. So they isolated the organisms, animals, human beings, plants, and environmental sources. All together, they called these group of bacteria as pleuropneumonia-like organisms, PPLO. This was unsatisfactory. So some group of microbiologists were not happy with this name, pleuropneumonia-like organisms, PPLO. This is not relating and not satisfactory. Some of the microbiologists felt like that. So they replaced the term pleuropneumonia-like organisms with the new term, that is mycoplasma. So pleuropneumonia-like organisms was the old term, and the new term is mycoplasma. Myco means the fungus-like of the branching filaments, and plasma denoting their plasticity of a shape. So mycoplasma. So myco means so filaments of a like branching. Plasma, which denotes a plasticity of a shape. So that's how the new term mycoplasma has been assigned to these group of bacteria. The term was pleuropneumonia-like organisms. Mycoplasma, a group of bacteria which are lacking the cell walls, which are having a plasticity. So these group of bacteria called as mycoplasmas, they are placed in the class molecules. Molecules. So literally the meaning here is soft skin. Cutes means skin. Moly means soft skin. So these group of bacteria called as mycoplasmas, they are placed in the class molecules. So order is Mycoplasma tails. Mycoplasma tails. So this order Mycoplasma tails is having some four families. So first family is Mycoplasmataceae, which is having two genus Mycoplasma and genus Ureaplasma. And second family is Acole Plasmataceae. Acole Plasmataceae. Third family is Spiroplasmataceae. Fourth family is Anaeroplasmataceae. So these mycoplasmas are placed in the class molecules order Mycoplasma tails. So they have four families: Mycoplasmataceae, Acoleplasmataceae, Spiroplasmataceae, and Aeroplasmataceae. These are the four families of this mycoplasmas. So these mycoplasmas, they may be saprophytic, means they grow on dead and decaying materials. Saprophytic. Parasitic means they depend on the host cells, even human beings also, and sometimes they are pathogenic. So they even cause diseases among animals and human beings. So they are saprophytic, parasitic, or pathogenic. More than 60 species of mycoplasma, they are known to cause disease in a mammalians, so all breastfeeding animals, even among insects and on plants also. So more than 60 different species of mycoplasma, they cause diseases in mammals, insects, and plants also. Some 10 species belonging to three families are found in human beings also. So three families mycoplasma, they are found to cause infections among human beings also. So next let us discuss about the morphology of mycoplasmas. So mycoplasma, a group of bacteria which belong to mycoplasma, so they are the very smallest free living microorganisms. Smallest free living microorganisms. So they are the one of the most pleomorphic organisms. Means they don't have any fixed size and shape. So they are pleomorphic, they are called as. So they occur as a granules and filaments of various sizes. So these group of bacteria which come under mycoplasma, they occur as a granules and filaments of various sizes. The granules may range from 100 to 1000 nanometer in size, with a coccoid, balloon, disc, ring, or star forms. So they may appear in rod shaped or uh, coco coccoid shape, balloon shape, disc shape, and ring shape. Even in the form of star also they may appear. So the filaments, they are slender of varying lengths, and they show a true branching. So the filaments are slender and they are very long. They have different lengths, and they show a branching. And multiplication of mycoplasmas is by binary fission. Binary fission means one filament divides into two, and that continues multiplication. So it is by multiplication is by binary fission. But as genomic replication and a cell division, they are not synchronous. So there is often a asynchronous genomic replication and cell division. It leads budding forms and chains of beads are produced. So means there will be a budding. So that budding will appear like a chain of beads. So you might have heard a chain of beads. So you people wear in your necks. So chain of beads, Muttinahara. So it appears like a chain of beads. So a distinctive feature which is seen in some species is a bulbous enlargement. So bulbous, you can see that picture I have sent you. bulbous enlargement will be there. So with a differentiated tip structure. So by means of this bulbous enlargement, the organism gets attached to a suitable host cells, which is carrying neuraminic acid receptors. So with the help of this bulbous enlargement, this organism attaches with a suitable host which carries neuraminic acid receptors. They may be responsible for a M absorption shown by some species. So mycoplasmas, they do not possess any spores. They do not have any flagella or fimbriae. They don't have spores. They are non-spore producing, and they are not having any flagella or fimbriae. And some species, they exhibit a gliding motility. They show motion by gliding motility. So these group of bacteria which come under mycoplasmas, they are gram negative, but better stained by the Gimsa stain. They are stained by Gimsa stain. They are gram negative. This is all about morphology of mycoplasmas. So next, let us discuss about the mycoplasmas of humans. Means a group of bacteria which come under mycoplasmas and which are found among human beings and which cause infections. Some are not causing infections, they are found on the surface of the body, but some of them they are leading to infections. So let us discuss them here. uh, some of the group, they are grouped into parasitic mycoplasmas and saprophytic mycoplasmas. So let us discuss parasitic mycoplasmas. They are frequently pathogenic. They are categorized into two or three categories. Frequently pathogenic means they are causing infections very frequently, and occasionally pathogenic means very rarely they cause infection, and non-pathogenic. So these parasitic mycoplasmas are again classified into frequently pathogenic, occasionally pathogenic, and non-pathogenic. So let us see frequently pathogenic mycoplasmas. So there is a one mycoplasma, that is mycoplasma pneumonia, which causes pneumonia, tracheobronchitis, and arthritis also. So mycoplasma pneumonia very commonly leading to pneumonia. So second category, it is occasionally pathogenic. Example, mycoplasma hominis. It is associated with the postpartum fever after delivery. So the lady starts getting fever, so that is caused by mycoplasma hominis. And sulfingitis means inflammation of the tubes, fallopian tubes. Endometritis, inflammation of the endometrium of the uterus. Abortion, so the expulsion of the concepts of the fertilization means all the contents of uterus after conception they come out, that is known as abortion. It may be caused by mycoplasma hominis. Sterility, the people are not producing children. Septicemia, infection which enters into the blood. And abscesses, collection of the pus. Arthritis, inflammation of the joints. Urethritis, inflammation of the urethra. So these group of infections are caused by mycoplasma hominis occasionally, not always. So very rarely. And there are some group of mycoplasmas which won't cause any infection. They are uh, urea plasma, urea liticum. They also cause very rarely. They not that commonly. They are associated with a non-gonococcal urethritis. So they also cause urethritis, inflammation of the urethra, pelvic inflammation, and septicemia, arthritis. So very rarely they cause, that is urea plasma, urea liticum. So third category of parasitic mycoplasmas, they are non-pathogenic. So mycoplasma orales, mycoplasma salivarium, mycoplasma buccale, Mycoplasma faecium. So these are group of bacteria which come under mycoplasmas. They are found in mouth, oropharynx, and Mycoplasma fermentans and Mycoplasma primatum. They are found in genital tract. So again, second group it is called as saprophytic. So as we discussed, mycoplasmas they are of two groups. One is parasitic, another one is saprophytic. Saprophytic group they are Acoloplasma ledlavi. So it is found on the skin and mouth of human beings. So this is about the some of the group of bacteria which come under mycoplasma, and they are seen in connection with human beings. Some of them they cause infection, some of them they are not infectious. So next let us discuss about the pathogenicity of mycoplasmas. So these parasitic mycoplasmas they have a host specificity. So they generally produce surface infections by adhering to the mucosal layers of a respiratory system and gastrointestinal and genitourinary tracts. So they adhere to the mucosal layers of respiratory system, gastrointestinal system and genitourinary tract. So infections related to respiratory system, gastrointestinal system and genitourinary tract infections are very commonly seen. We have discussed earlier. So they can cause two diseases in human beings, mainly pneumonia and genital infections. So primary typical mycoplasmas they can cause two diseases in human beings. One is pneumonia and another one is genital infections. So urethritis and all they are caused by mycoplasma group of bacteria. So this mycoplasmal pneumonia is a primary atypical pneumonia. It is caused by mycoplasma pneumoniae. So this pneumonia has an incubation period of 1 to 3 weeks, and onset is gradual. Very slowly, the fever will start, and the person will be suffering from weakness, headache, and sore throat. So there will be a paroxysmal cough and blood tinged sputum. So there will be a blood in the sputum. Hemoptysis it is called as. So there will be a hemoptysis, and then it is characterized by breathing difficulties, and there will be a marked radiological evidences of consolidation. If you take x-ray of chest or if you do the CT scan of the chest, there will be a patches seen which are the evidence of consolidation. So usually it is a unilateral, one side it will be affected. Usually the lower lobe of the lungs they get affected one side. So this disease is self-limited. Recovery occurs within 1 to 2 weeks, and bullous myringitis and otitis they are also common complications of this infection, pneumonia. And there will be a rashes, meningitis, encephalitis, and hemolytic anemia. There are also the complications of this pneumonia, mycoplasmal infections among human beings. So it is worldwide. Mycoplasmas they are present worldwide and they cause diseases among human beings, and they are commonly seen among older children and adolescents. Older children and adolescents they cause infections more and more. So even it is commonly seen among military people, and the transmission is by droplets. So same like corona what we are discussing. So it is present in nasopharyngeal secretions, and when the people are talking, when they are um, spitting, when they are giving out air by expiration, so when they are coughing, when they are sneezing, so by the air droplets, there will be a droplets from the nasopharyngeal secretions. They carry the mycoplasmas. So the person who comes in contact with those droplets, they get infected. So same way like corona, you might have heard that. So it may remain in the throat for 2 to 2 weeks to 2 to 3 months. So after recovery from the mycoplasma infection, so these mycoplasma bacteria, they persist in the throat for 2 months or sometimes more in the throat. So the people are having mycoplasma bacteria in their throat even after recovery. They can transmit to others. So next, let us discuss about the treatment of mycoplasma infection. So there are some antibiotics which can be used to cure the mycoplasma infections. They are tetracycline and erythromycin. They are the drugs which are used to treat the mycoplasmal infections. So they can cure the mycoplasmal infections. So far we have discussed about the group of bacteria which are missing, which are lacking cell walls, and they are highly pleomorphic, that is they are not having any fixed shape and size, and they cause infections among human beings. We have discussed mycoplasma pneumoniae and mycoplasma hominis and ureaplasma urealyticum. So there are some group of the bacteria which come under mycoplasma. They cause infections among human beings. So it is mentioned in your syllabus, so we have discussed. So that completes our mycoplasma.